not going to just breeze through. So she went over to the rope and she started up. And I could tell she was really struggling and she was getting tearful, and I can't do this. I can't pull myself. But Heather just looked at her and said, you can do it, you can. And about that time, other counselors were around and other adults and all the other campers were just cheering her on. And they kept cheering and cheering and cheering. And you could tell she still was not certain about this. She got about halfway up and I thought she was going to come back down, but she didn't. She got up there and everybody was ecstatic. I was in tears. It was just such a blessing, because if all the people around her had not been there to help her and to support her, then she couldn't have done that without God's help and their love and help. And that's what you find out at camp.
With their roots grounded firmly, Lutheridge and Lutherock ministries have provided a foundation for faith for thousands of youth and adults. But with anything that has roots, growth is an inevitable part of Lutheridge and Lutherock. In order to continue to provide spiritual growth to campers, counselors, families, and congregations, this holy place must grow too. Facilities at both camps are in need of expansion to make room for future generations. Lutherock boasts one of the most unique wilderness settings in the Southeast, but it lacks some of the basic facilities and infrastructure to support the program. These will be added, and the site will serve an additional 1,000 youth every summer while maintaining the unique wilderness nature of the camp.
We're building a retreat center for the adults who come with their youth. Now, it may seem ironic, if our priority is youth, why would we build an adult center? That's because, unfortunately, now some adults bring youth and don't come back because of inadequate accommodations. And then every ski season, we'll retrofit the building to serve senior high and junior high youth who will come skiing. So that'll be a much needed facility. So new cabins, a retreat center for adults, and then a central dining facility, and that comprises the essence of the plan at Lutherock. We are going to winterize some cabins in the non-summer so that all the exciting parts of our Christ-centered community youth will be able to experience in the spring, winter, and fall, as well as the summer. Right now, we can only serve 30 youth during the winter at Lutheridge. When we're done with our plan, we'll be able to serve 150. Then, secondly, we'll be building a multi-purpose center gymnasium at Lutheridge. When we have bad weather, those 500 people on the grounds have nowhere to go. So this gymnasium will be an all-season recreation center for youth at Lutheridge, and for large conferences, it'll give us an indoor gathering place. It'll even have a walking track for those people that want to walk in bad weather.
The Foundation for Faith campaign has a goal to raise $6 million to complete the expansion project at both locations. So what's needed to make this vision a reality?
To accomplish this goal, most important is people that are committed, that know the value of Lutheridge and Lutherock, and know the value of the ministry, for them to get behind us. We need their gifts, we need their prayers, we need their volunteer involvement. We need to raise at least $6 million. That sounds like a lot of money. But for all the Lutherans in the Southeast, it's a small amount of money if each will do their part.
The success of this campaign will enable Lutheridge and Lutherock to continue to carry out their missions of providing programs, times, and places apart where all people can experience a Christ-centered community and grow in their relationship to God and God's creation.
Generous giving is a part of what it means to be a Christian. We have been showered with God's love, God's forgiveness, God's grace and mercy have come into our lives. One way of responding is through generous giving. It's a way that we display and proclaim to the world the forgiveness that we have received so freely from God. Generous giving is part of what it means to be a Christian. I would encourage everyone to be a generous giver to this campaign because of the mission and ministry that comes through Lutheridge and Lutherock.
For more than 50 years, Lutheridge and Lutherock have been providing a foundation for faith for Christians of all ages. Truly a place apart, Lutheridge and Lutherock have changed the lives of thousands of people. With your continued support, we can help touch lives and shape future generations for years to come.
Lutheran Outdoor Ministries has greatly impacted my life and the lives of hundreds of people throughout our Florida Bahamas Synod. For most of my life, I have enjoyed week-long summer camp experiences and year-round retreats at Lutheran camps and retreat sites in Florida and North Carolina. I have been privileged to witness the camping experience change the lives of literally thousands of children, youth, and adults through the transforming power of God's love and His Spirit at work. With the establishment of Lutheran Outdoor Ministries of Florida and the development of Luther Springs, our opportunities throughout Florida are enriched and expanded. This added to the many wonderful opportunities provided by Lutheridge and Lutherock. Children, youth, families, and adult leaders are strengthened and renewed in their faith at outdoor ministry experiences and return to their homes and congregations energized and excited about discipleship and ministry opportunities in their lives. This is the right time. This is an excellent time for every congregation of our synod to endorse and support the Foundations for Faith campaign. This effort will greatly strengthen our ability to offer and expand outdoor ministry experiences for children, youth, and adults through Lutheran Outdoor Ministries of Florida, Luther Springs, and through the ministries of Lutheridge, Lutherock. I strongly endorse this challenge being placed before us and pray that we can count on you as well. Thank you.
Teaching young and old to walk in faith while being good stewards of our environment is what Outdoor Ministries is all about. Here in the Southeast, we're engulfed by some of the most beautiful surroundings God has to offer. So what better way to spread the gospel than to get out and jump right in? Lutheridge and Lutherock have been building a foundation for faith for Christians for more than 50 years. The Reverend Dr. J. Lewis Thornburg, founding leader of Lutheridge, planted the seed, and with God's help, he watched Lutheridge grow and produce many leaders of our faith. Lutherock began 4 decades ago with the donation of 50 acres of land. It was nurtured along through half its life by just 8 congregations. Now, through a merger with Lutheridge in 1991, Lutherock is coming of age with great potential for the future.
What about when you carried other people? What do you feel about that?
Florida congregations have participated in outdoor ministry programs for decades. Lutheran Outdoor Ministries of Florida was established in 1989 by the Florida Bahamas Synod to serve 217 congregations throughout the Synod. Program growth has been the launching pad for developing our outdoor ministry center, Luther Springs, near Gainesville. These ministries have roots which grow strong and deep and provide our campers and guests the foundation and strength to live as Christians in an ever-changing society. These ministries are a holy training ground where many have found their calling and all have been touched by the living God.
Well, when I was a counselor, it changed my life because I decided to go into the ministry after my first summer as a counselor. And I had an experience with confirmation camp, and ever since I work in a church now, and I do youth ministry, and it has changed my life.
Offering life-changing experiences in an intentional Christian community has always been the mission of Outdoor Ministries. Its results can also be measured years later through its positive influence on the lives of individuals in all walks of life. Alicia Eckerd first attended Lutherock more than 12 years ago. Even now, she applies her camp experiences in her everyday life.
It's just a wonderful feeling to go there, and I've been going back year after year since I was a child. I started going, and the best thing about it was the music. You know, there's a great environment, there's great counselors, there's great campers, but the music there is what really touched me. And I think that's what's led me to my career today in music therapy.
Whether you're a camper or a counselor, Outdoor Ministries can give you an experience that will last a lifetime.
I would recommend this camp to other kids so they'd get to know Jesus more and know why they were put on this earth and know when they're alone, they're not actually alone because God is with them.
I think that beach camp as part of a Christian camp is so awesome because when you sit here, that's what it's all about, you know? I mean, you can just sit here and you feel the power of creation and you feel God just sitting here, and I think that the kids get that.
Recent nationwide studies indicate that a Christian camp or retreat experience is one of the single most important influences in the development of a Christ-centered faith in children and youth.
It's been a lot of fun, and it's something that I will never forget for like the rest of my life. And it's brought me a lot closer to God in my heart and just in my daily life.
The challenges campers face at both locations can be both mental and physical.
Kristen, can you pull? You have arm strength. Can you pull?
Yeah.
She can pull.
It teaches them that regardless of what life throws your way, with a strong faith and support group, people can accomplish just about anything.
I'm thinking, oh my goodness, but this isn't going to be hard for this is going to be very hard for my daughter. She is not going to just breeze through. So she went over to the rope and she started up. And I could tell she was really struggling and she was getting tearful, and I can't do this. I can't pull myself. But Heather just looked at her and said, you can do it, you can. And about that time, other counselors were around and other adults, and all the other campers were just cheering her on. And they kept cheering and cheering and cheering. You could tell she still was not certain about this. She got about halfway up, and I thought she was going to come back down, but she didn't. She got up there, and everybody was ecstatic. I was in tears. It was just such a blessing, because if all the people around her had not been there to help her and to support her, then she couldn't have done that without God's help and their love and help. And that's what you find out at camp.
Outdoor Ministries plays a significant role in the lives of families and congregations across the country. There may be no greater evangelical task or opportunity before us than passing on the faith to today's children and families and to those of future generations.
And it's a great place for them to learn that they're okay and that they can have self-confidence, and kids can come and meet new people that are like them, and that we can encourage and motivate them to be themselves. And they can come here and have a wonderful time on the beach.
With its roots grounded firmly, our outdoor ministries have provided a foundation for faith for thousands of youth and adults. But as with anything that has roots, growth is inevitable. In order to continue to provide spiritual growth to campers, counselors, families, and congregations, these holy places must grow too. Programs and facilities at each camp are in need of expansion to serve future generations. The projects at Luther Springs in Florida include the completion of the adult retreat housing facilities, a swimming pool, and a director's residence, plus funding for program startup staff. At Lutherock, a multiple-use retreat center will be constructed to house summer confirmation camp leaders and to provide comfortable retreat facilities for groups of all ages during the fall, winter, and spring. Winterization of the wilderness cabins and Bischoff Lodge at Lutheridge will triple the youth retreat capacity for fall, winter, and spring seasons.
I'm really pleased, Bob, that we've chosen the theme Foundations for Faith, because even though these funds are going to enable us to build buildings, what we're really talking about is people's lives. And we're going to be able together to serve hundreds, thousands of more youth and adults that need the benefit of a Christ-centered camp experience. And that's really what's going to happen through this campaign.
Where they can come to a special place that's set apart, that is Christ-centered, parish, congregationally oriented, and Bible-based. Will be a tremendous addition for all of our congregations, those that have been around for many, many years, and new congregations that are being started in our synod areas.
Florida congregations are invited to participate enthusiastically in the Foundations for Faith campaign to strengthen Christian outdoor ministry for Florida congregations and families. The $750,000 goal is possible, and the $1 million challenge goal is attainable with synod-wide participation. The success of this campaign will enable our outdoor ministries to continue to carry out its mission of providing programs, times, and places apart where all people can experience a Christ-centered community and grow in their relationship to God and God's creation. With your continued help and participation, Lutheran Outdoor Ministries can fulfill its mission of providing opportunities for people of all ages to grow personally and spiritually through Jesus Christ in an outdoor setting.
Being out here is great. I don't want to go home at all. I just want to stay.
Lutheridge was clear across the state from a home I dearly missed. Within its gates and amongst its cabins was the same spirit of God's grace and goodness, which I felt at home and at church. For the past 4 summers, I've served on Lutheridge's senior staff, supporting and supervising the counseling staff. While the joy of the ministry for me remains the children in our care, in these past summers, what has become so clear and important to me is Lutheridge's work to grow and mature leaders in God's church. Seeing a counselor growing and achieving in the Spirit throughout the summer in ways they never thought possible before they arrived on camp is such an incredible witness as God moves them from the role of served to servant in ministry. My plans for this coming fall are to attend Lutheran Theological Southern Seminary, and at no place has this calling felt stronger than within the ministry of Lutheridge. The work and relationships formed there has served as a lens which has not only magnified the gifts God has given me and my fellow counselors, but also reflected the various ways we are to use them to serve Christ in the larger church.
That's why we're here. Not money, not facilities, but faces, lives, experiences. Sharing that faith, people living it out, growing disciples. in the cabins, on the trails, in the rivers, around the campfire, in lakeside vespers.
do that one again.
The dreams of a religious community, special programs for children, a new addition on the education wing, outreach to seniors, added staff, scholarships for students, upkeep on aging buildings. Most Lutheran churches and other institutions have had financial goals that have been difficult to reach by traditional means. But now, around the country, Lutherans are using charitable giving to Lutheran endowment funds to turn their dreams into reality and to endow tomorrow. Contributors, large and small, are feeling the satisfaction and joy of participating in stewardship support of institutions and programs they believe in.
It's not a huge amount of money, but it's what we have to give, and we wanted to give it.
Just such a easy way of giving.
A lot more.
It's
kind of maximizes your giving.
Yes.
I think it's really exciting to be a part of this, and to think that one's money could be used in that fashion.
In Eugene, Oregon, Carolyn Hoyer makes a yearly gift which pays the premium on a life insurance policy assigned to her church, United Lutheran. This allows her to be involved with the church's building campaign.
I thought it would be a nice thing to get involved with, but I really didn't think it would be feasible for me to ever accumulate the sum of money that might be necessary to make a significant gift. And even though what I'm doing is probably small by some standards, it's more than I thought I would ever be able to do.
Ken and Lois Erickson are also members of United Lutheran in Eugene. Their financial planning will assure an inheritance for their children and a significant endowment for church programs they care about very deeply.
I'm glad that we've made this decision. I feel satisfied, and I just feel that we've made a good decision, and I'm happy about it.
I guess I feel joyous about it. God's been generous to us. We've probably been on the frugal side, but this has allowed us to share things that we never dreamed of. I would not have dreamed of when we were first married. So it's a feeling of joy.
The need exists, whether it's for programs, salaries, or bricks and mortar. Here at Bethany Lutheran College in Mankato, Minnesota, endowment support will pay for the construction and ongoing operation of a long-dreamed-of fine arts building.